when you out there without care. I was out of town, but it wasn't because I didn't know, no. I just know too much. Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Possibly. I hope that you're having the time of your life. Think twice. That's my only advice. Oh, who do you think you are?
Hello, everybody. Guys, happy, what is it? Today, Wednesday. Sometimes I forget what day it is, and oftentimes I have to refer to my phone just to be sure what day it is. Because, you know, the unique thing about where I work is, honestly, really, it doesn't feel like work. It feels like I'm having a field day. Each time I come to this part of town, it never feels laborious. It never feels, conjured. It always just feels like I'm here to just hang out, even though I am working. How are you guys? Hope you're well. A few shout outs to you guys before I begin. Tell me, how's the lighting? Because, I never get that right. Sometimes I just get it completely botched and wrong. Please tell me in the comments if the lighting is okay on your end. Who's a Big Blue Nation from Kentucky's watching? Hello, Kentucky. Good evening, Mr. Muero, watching from Ibex. I've got family out there, and I don't live too far from there. Somebody's watching us from Botswana, Francistown. Thank you so much for being with me. And happy Wednesday, wherever you are. Now, remember, for those of you that are here in Lusaka, this weekend, Saturday, the 27th of May, all of us are very excited about Yomapes' concert. Yomapes, for those of you that do not know, Yomapes is a very famous Zambian artist here in Zambia, and he's holding his very first stadium concert. And many people said that he was not going to be able to fill the stadium up. I disagree. I think that he's going to do it, and he will do it in fine style. And if he doesn't do it, he'll come very close to doing it. So we're looking forward to that. Somebody says, great picture, Mambo. Thank you so much for saying that. I appreciate it. Guys, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. You can see it's scrolling down there. We're going to talk about Jeff Bezos getting married, and there's a story I have to tell you about that I think you're going to find interesting. But before we get into that, let me just make mention. This morning, scrolling through my wormhole, I came across a trailer, and it was Oprah Winfrey. You know Oprah Winfrey, the very famous talk show host from America, Chicago to be specific. She was having a photo shoot with her fellow actresses, and she revealed for the very first time the brand new trailer of the new Color Purple. There's a new Color Purple. For those of you that do not know, many years ago, there was a famous film that came out, directed by Steven Spielberg, music done by Quincy Jones, and it had a stellar black cast. Whoopi Goldberg was in there. Lawrence Fishburne was in there. Oprah herself was in. Many black African-American luminaries who were very young at the time, but this was a very iconic film called The Color Purple. And I was just amazed that they've decided, and I didn't hear about this, but they decided all of a sudden to do a remake. Taraji P. Henson's in the new one, and it aesthetically it looks very beautiful because you compare it to the original. The original came out many years ago before there was any such thing as HD and quad LED, or what do they call the thing. And it looks pretty to look at. It looks really beautiful to look at. I mean, the camera work, the lighting, everything is beautiful. I only hope that it is as good as the original because oftentimes Hollywood doesn't always get it right when they do remakes. I think the only remake, in my opinion, that was done beautifully well was the film Father of the Bride with what's his name, Steve Martin. They did a really good remake of the original. In fact, it got to the point where I think the remake was better than the original. But Hollywood doesn't always get that right. So I think in this case, we're yet to see. We'll watch it because it's the same story, basically. It's just different cast members, a different temperature, and we're yet to see how well they're going to do. I hope they're going to do well as the first one. The first one was amazing. All right. Thought I'd share that with you. Guys, have you heard that Jeff Bezos is getting married? Have you heard this? Tell me in the comments below. We've got less than 7 minutes. We're going to deal with this. Have you heard this? Oh, I agree with this. I agree with this one. Coming to America 2 was an absolute quintessential flop. In fact, I'm so glad you said this. Who is this? I'm so glad you said this because honestly, really, Coming to America 2, it was one of those movies that they took years to redo, or not redo. They took years to do a sequel. And I think when they finally got around to deciding to do the film, they just landed with a gigantic hollow thud. I mean, the movie was awful. Everybody looked terrible. I think the only real star of that Coming to America 2 was Arsenio Hall and Wesley Snipes. They were the real stars of that sequel, I think. Anyway, so here's the thing. Jeff Bezos, as you know, the chief executive officer of Amazon, all of us at one stage or another have ordered something from Amazon, multi-billionaire. He's been married before. In his first marriage, he had 4 kids. And this lady, her name is Lauren Sanchez. She's a pilot, an accomplished woman, in her own right. She's had 3 children from previous relationships. Okay. So altogether, they're going to have 7 kids between them. Okay. And as you know, billionaires have a completely different view of marriage. They view marriage very differently from the way you and I view marriage. When you and I got married, I don't think I ever one time had the thought of protecting my assets. It reminded me of that story. You guys remember the story of the husband who secretly divorced his wife to protect his assets. Remember the story? If you don't know about this story happened back in 1994, many years ago. It was the story of a 59-year-old woman. Her name was Christina Villa. She sued her 90-year-old husband, Gabriel Villa, and she sued to nullify the divorce that she didn't know about. Here's the story. Basically, these two, met at a party. They hit it off. They got to know one another. Within a few months, they got married. 4 months down the road, this man, Gabriel, decides, you know what? I don't feel comfortable. I think this woman is after my money. So guess what he does? He goes to the Dominican Republic. You know where that is? Dominican Republic shares the border with Haiti. Because apparently in the Dominican, you can get a divorce without you being in court. You can divorce your wife in the Dominican without either one of you being at the courthouse. So this is what he did. He secretly divorced his wife in the Dominican, and yet he was married to this woman for many years. So one One day she decides, you know, that she's going to divorce him, and only to discover they've been divorced. They were divorced 4 months after they got married, and she knew nothing about it. And the reason, now this is the reason that he filed in the Dominican. He filed, the reason that he divorced his wife was incompatibility of temperaments. I've messed up the text there. I need to correct that. Here it is. I'll fix it. That's a great thing about StreamYard. You can fix it right there in real time if we can get it fixed. There it is. There it is. Incompatible. Oh, it's still not fixed. Come on, guys. I'll fix it in a moment. All right, here it is. Incompatibility of temperaments. That was the reason he divorced his wife without her knowing. So, my question then to you is, do you think that this marriage between Jeff Bezos and this lady, Lauren Sanchez, who's a very pretty girl? I mean, she's beautiful. Now, here's what I think. I think that when she's more beautiful when you see her on live videos, like videos. When you look at her in still photographs and still pictures, not so. But when she's talking live, I saw an interview between her and her husband to be Jeff and a CNN lady, and you know she looked pretty good. But I just get worried when I see these billionaires, especially after having come out of a divorce. Do you think that this relationship will last? Do you think Jeff Bezos? Here's the thing about getting married. I think that one of the most important questions to ask is, are you going to get old together? So the question then is, do you think Jeff Bezos is going to grow old and die with this woman? Tell me in the comments. We've got one more minute before the news. Incompatibility of temperaments. I've heard of irreconcilable differences, but I've never heard of incompatibility of temperaments. What does that even mean? Oh dear. All right. I need to hear you guys tell me. Okay. Do you think that Jeff Bezos will grow old with Lauren Sanchez, his new wife to be? Now remember, Jeff, he's been married before. He's had 4 kids in his previous relationship. Sanchez, has 3 children from 3 other relationships. Well, previous relationships. We don't know how many relationships that was, but she's got 3 kids from previous relationships. Together, between the 2 of them, they're going to have 7 kids. 7 kids right out the gate before you even start, boy. Who are they? The Von Trapp family? Goodness gracious. All right, one comment before I let you guys go. It's impossible for him to grow old with that lady. Wanza says. Guys, thank you for watching. Have a great evening. God bless. Take care of yourselves.